Alright guys, you're looking at the materials you're going to use today. You're going to get a tracer and a Keith Haring tracer in different positions. You'll have a pencil, Sharpie, scissors, and of course a glue stick. And don't forget your 2 colors of choice. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start with our first step. First step, you're going to get your Keith Haring tracer, get a pencil, and go ahead and start tracing. We've talked about tracing before, making sure that you keep your finger along the edge of the tracer so it doesn't come off the paper. You never let the tracer come off the page until you are done tracing. And so what you do is you keep your fingers along the edges just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up. Notice I'm not letting it move or slide, but I'm gonna speed it up so you guys can just watch me do this fast. Alright, step 1 is complete. I do need to go in and kind of, finish a couple parts that I missed or maybe erase a couple straight lines, but either way, this is step 1 and I'm done. Second step, you're gonna get a black Sharpie and you're gonna retrace your pencil markings and you're gonna make your lines thicker. So for example, you're gonna go in, retrace that line that you created with your pencil, and then you're gonna make a double line. Not too thick, not too thin, just a double line to make the outline of your Keith Haring piece thick. And then you color in nice and smooth, staying inside those lines so you have a smooth, thick outline. So when you go in, you trace, so I'll talk about it again, you trace that pencil marking, then you make another line next to it, and then you kind of color it in just like that. Making sure your lines are smooth. I'm not doing this. I'm not making rough lines. If you do something like this, you're not following directions. You make 2 lines next to each other, then you color it in. So, step 2, you're gonna go ahead and thicken up that outline, and I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to it. Alright guys, so as you can see, I have my guy, he's outlined, thick outline. Make sure you do make double lines around them so we have a thick, bold outline. Alright, when you're done, you're going to get your scissors and you're just going to cut this little guy out. Again, when you're cutting out, please make sure you cut along the black line. Let's zoom in here. If you could see, I'm cutting around my black line. I'm not trying to cut my thick outline I created, because if I do that, that would be, it would make no sense. So you just go ahead, try your best to cut along the black line, don't cut away, and we'll go ahead and talk about your final step. So we got this little guy. He looks like he's cut out pretty nicely, but if we look here, there's a little bit of that paper right there. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of color in that part. Get rid of any of that. You don't have to go ahead and cut it off. You can just keep making the outline thicker and just kind of cover that up. Oops, got on the table, no big deal. We'll get that cleaned up a little later. But all right, so now I got all the little stray marks colored in. I am ready to glue him onto a piece of paper, which is the second piece you got from me. When you're gluing, please don't glue your project on top of the paper that you're gonna glue it on. Put that paper to the side, get your glue, and then what you're gonna do is apply the glue along the edges and press hard. I don't wanna see little things like this. This is not gonna work, it will not stick. So you make sure you get all that glue around the edge of your little guy. Press hard, not too hard. If it gets on the table, no big deal. And just kind of go around, boom, boom, boom. And make sure you get every single edge. Doesn't have to be all over the place, just make sure it's just the edges. All right, looks like I got the edges down. Let's go. Oh, forgot a little spot here, right here, right here. Alrighty, so I'm ready to go ahead and put them on my paper. You can position your guy however you want. Maybe he's kind of running towards the side. Maybe he's going like this. He can even be upside down, whatever you want. I'm just gonna place him right in the center, making sure he's not hanging off the paper. Slap him on, make sure it's stuck. I don't see any of my edges popping off. And my final phase is I need to make this guy look like he's moving. We talked about action lines. Curved lines are what's gonna really make this guy look like he's wiggling around. So you get your black marker and you make these curved lines angled towards your little guy. Don't angle them away from your little guy because it's not gonna make any sense. So think about what you want to move. I want his leg to look like it's moving, so I will go ahead and make my couple, it's like 3 curved lines around it. And as you can see, they get thicker as we go out. Again, we stick with our thick outline, so you just kind of make 2 double lines next to each other. So it is a thick line and it's bold and it really sticks off the paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue my little action lines. Speed it up so you guys can watch me, but make sure. Alright guys, guys, we are done. As you can see, my action lines are around the areas I want it to look like it's moving. I even put a couple action lines right above his head to make it look like, I don't know, his head's like thinking, who knows. And I do want you to look at this area down here. I did add some broken lines just to give it a little more rhythm throughout the picture. If you have time, go ahead and add that, but really all I need to see is you getting your beautiful Keith Haring guy glued down onto the paper. Get him some action lines, make sure they're thick outlines, bold, and you're gonna have an awesome picture.